possibility, something like that. Otherwise, we really are encouraging at this point for you to put this in your calendar and at least try to come in once a month to re-engage with each other, feel the energy, the human skills, things like that. Like, we really need to bring that back. Gary's encouraging it. Other market centers are doing it. Other businesses are doing it. Weddings are happening. So we are back live in person. So if you feel comfortable wearing a mask, by all means do so. But we will be pushing that out, that we will be only having them in-house unless it's absolutely necessary. A home inspection is not necessary. Okay, a closing is not necessary. You should be building, hopefully, some of these things around that, but I understand that business has to happen. So those of you that do need it recorded, we still will have that up in the drive and you can watch it at your own convenience. So we will let you know that. But if Jason Linscott's back in service and back in the office, then everybody else should be here. Exactly. All right, Mitchell.
Okay, couple things. I need to stand or I can sit?
I don't know. Oh, I can adjust. You know what?
Still,
Take a seat. Take a seat. There we are.
a couple things. First of all, on offers, purchase and sale agreements, inclusions, exclusions. I would prefer, if I had my druthers, is that there be an inclusion exclusion sheet filled out by the seller prior to the deal being put together and having it signed by both parties and have it attached to the purchase and sale agreement. Why is that important? Because if it's signed by all the parties, there's going to be no gray area later as to what is or is not included. And if you can't find your way to doing that, at a minimum, make sure that the MLS listing, which is important for us to get, guys, has everything listed. Now, that's probably not the most appropriate place to have the very specific minutia that can be included. But if I can't get you to do the inclusion exclusion sheet, at a minimum, have it as thorough. Because what happens is I'm putting a P&S together, or I'm on the other side, and then the buyer says, well, what about the X? I have no idea. I have to go back to the client, a realtor, and then the realtor go back to the client. My point being is you get six steps that could have been completely avoided if we just did it in the first place. So, and we don't want to have later on, the chandelier was supposed to be included. No, it isn't. Okay, so that's important. Secondly, we've talked about this before. It's vitally important when you're on the listing side, and frankly, it's okay if you're on the buying side too, is that you pull a deed for the owners of the property. It is very important, both from a listing agreement point of view and from a purchase offer and purchase sale agreement point of view, that who you have listed as the owners are the owners. The biggest culprit that comes up in these situations is trusts. People don't even know, because it's an estate planning vehicle, that they have done that. And if the realtor hasn't pulled the deed, the realtor is going to list Mr. and Mrs. Jones as the owner. Mr. and Mrs. Jones don't own the property. Your listing agreement's worthless. The offer is worthless. The P&S is worthless. Now, I say that dramatically. They're not really worthless, but if you had to go to court, you'd have a problem. So don't do that. Last on that particular thing. People know, if you just nod. Have you heard the expression life estate before? Okay. I'll just, for those that don't know, what a life estate is and that's another estate planning vehicle so that the property does not pass through the owner's estate upon their death. Okay. So what people do is they'll deed their property, usually an older person, will deed the property into a trust or to their kids or into any other entity. And they'll retain what's called the life estate, which means they own the property while they are alive. Okay. What's important is, again, that's an estate issue. Mr. and Mrs. Seller doesn't even know that they did that. You don't pull the deed and you have the owner of the life estate being the seller. Well, the people that are what's called the remainder men, it's a census word, I know, is the word. Remainderment, meaning the kids or the trust aren't listed on your offer, aren't listed in the listing agreement, aren't listed in the P&S. Well, hopefully by the P&S it gets caught, but point being, again, unenforceable contracts. So those are really important things to do. It'll take you 5 minutes. And if you don't know how to do it, or if you're having trouble doing it, just give us a holler. I'd like to think we kind of figured out how to do that by now. That's the important stuff. Again, Jamie and I talked earlier this week about our lunch and learns, which we do once a month. There has been some request for us to put out specific topics for you to discuss. I will do it because Jamie asked me to, but I think it's more helpful if we come in with issues that we have had, with topics that we've had issues with since the last time we were here. And I encourage and welcome you guys to do the same thing, because there are very few topics that I'm going to be able to give to you that's going to last 45 minutes. Most of these topics are 5 minutes. And frankly, a lot of them are the same topics that we've talked about before, but there are different people sitting here. So we'll do that. I encourage you to reach out to us if you have things you want to hear about, and we will do the same.
So one thing that I heard was we need to run a class on how to pull a deed. And that's not to anyone, I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to dumb it down, but there's a lot of people that really just don't know how to pull a deed. And so if Mitchell's still having that problem, we're still talking about this 3 months later, especially with our agents, then look out for that class in August or September on some basics. So in September, we usually like to bring back some basics and foundation because we forget. We get so busy, we get so comfortable that honestly, we forget to clean out our voicemails. Shocking. We forget to follow up. We forget some of these things. So we will be running some quick classes, quick reminder fundamentals. That will be one of them.
Let me just add one thing.
Yes.
And I got a deal today, not this office. That's a property in Ireland. So I have the buyers. So I'm looking at the offer and I see that it's signed by, I don't remember the name, Jane Jones under power of attorney, by power of attorney and Sally Jones. So I'm thinking to myself, that doesn't, you shouldn't be signing things under power of attorney in this day and age of DocuSign. That's weird. So I call my realtor, buyer's realtor, and I say, do you have any idea why Jane Jones is signing on power of attorney? Her answer is no. Really? Long short of it is, so I do my research and I find out that the person for whom the power of attorney is drafted has a life estate, and the remainder goes to a trust, which is nowhere mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, I got to wonder why is this person can't sign themselves, the life estate person? But these are potentially big issues. Can't gloss over.
Right.
Right. And if we're starting with the wrong information, then we're not going to finish with bad information, but it's going to get in the way.
We're definitely not going to close on time.
That's
So at the end of the day, we'll get through the issues. The issues can be resolved. It's not something.
Oh yeah, if there is very little that
It's
we
just-
do that we can't
Right.
fix.
It's just that you're definitely not closing on that day. If these are the things that have started the transaction, we don't have the right information and we don't have the right
And
people.
your clients are going to look to you as to why are we finding this out now? That's a very favorite line.
I love that line.
Yeah.
All right, so we will put some of those basics. I do have a special guest on here today before Jasper continues, so I'm just gonna kind of fast forward the slide. So I am gonna get back to you, Jasper. But I wanted to make a big announcement. Now, I know that July our numbers are always down. Usually there's about 25 people on Zoom. There's about 15 people in the training room. I know a lot of you are on vacation the next 2 weeks. So we will be reintroducing Tiffany a couple times through this process. But finally, our region has named a regional productivity coach, which means that this person will be responsible for all the market centers that have productivity coaches, and she will coach them to add more value to their market center, to their program and things like that. For those market centers that don't have a specific productivity coach or business development program that's running at a high level, then we have the option to have Tiffany as our one-to-one coach, and she's only taking a few people on. I've known Tiffany for a while, so I'm going to introduce her as our business development partner. She will be taking over group coaching. I will give her the opportunity to, introduce herself, tell you a little bit about her experience, how long she's been in the industry, things like that. We are really excited. Ashley and I have been talking to Tiffany for a while. Tiffany actually created the training dashboard that many of you have logged on to when you go to the All Agent Access Drive in Google. Tiffany, the way that she works and compartmentalizes all the organizational ways of systems, a very, very big system person, along with the experience and MAPS coaching and things like that. We are very lucky to have our new agents and existing agents. So if you're an agent that's looking for coaching, and you've come to me, and if I have availability, I'm always welcomed to coach first our top 20%, then everybody else. But if you're looking for that extra push, I want you to build that relationship. Tiffany will be reaching out to everybody on the roster to introduce herself. This opportunity is available for you, and she can get you from this level to the next level through her coaching. So Tiffany, welcome. So tell us a little bit about yourself and your story here.
Cool. So I am originally from Jersey. I moved up to Maine in 1999. I am a single mom that is raising 3 kids, 28, 18, and 15. So I am on the downswing. I'm extremely excited about that side of the world. Right? So I've been through a few shifts, right? When you think of all of the things that we've been through in this business, as an agent in the last couple of years, because many of us have only been in the business since COVID or even a couple of years before COVID. The shift is a thing that resets us as agents, so we get back to the basics. The best part about coaching is you always stay in the basics, so you never need to constantly shift. Some of the things that we're doing on Thursday, the 28th, as long as it works with Jamie's schedule, we'll do a PC orientation at 10 a.m. And I'll send a Zoom link to Jamie so she can get out to all of you guys. I'll also be making a phone call, but essentially we have 3 levels of coaching. We have launching into the business. Then we have emerging capper, how to get you from where you are when you launched to capping. And then how do you sustain 150,000 plus GCI so you can move to MAPS coaching. So that's our mission at the region, is making sure that you really are living the life by design, because you got into real estate for a reason and we want you to live it. When you implement systems, not only will you get your time back, but your relationships will grow stronger. And that's where I really want to spend my time with you. That's pretty much all I got.
So I love it because you said systems and the organization and the systems. You wouldn't have Mitchell saying that you're not doing an inclusion or an exclusion sheet if you had your systems and bulletproofing your transactions better, to be honest. And so Tiffany will also be part of the shift series that is running. We are going to talk about that in a few more slides. That was yesterday from 2 to 3. Lots of great value there. And so Tiffany is one of the leadership members hosting that for the next 9 weeks. So Tiffany, thank you for being on today. Again, everyone look out for your email, your text, your phone. She'll be introducing herself and she will be part of our leadership team. And you will meet her in person because she will be here at the Market Center in the fall to teach a full day class. So we are excited. So welcome, Tiffany.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we're going to go back to Jasper because you are very important to me as well. So I apologize, but I know that Tiffany has coaching after. So
I appreciate all your kind words.
I try. I try.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I like what Mitchell did. He kind of explained what was going on, right? Like, it's hard for me to talk up here about dwelling coverage and reconstruction costs and all this other stuff. He's kind of bringing to light some problems that he's seen. And I actually compiled a list of some problems that I've seen that could make your guys' lives a little bit more difficult. So if you can avoid them with some foresight, that might be helpful. And the first one is home insurance policies as a whole are increasing. And the reason why is because the coverage has to be more now. Reconstruction cost has gone up. Regardless of what that means, that drives the price up. So if your lender is estimating $75 a month on a home insurance policy, that's a big stretch, especially in this area, in the Merrimack Valley area. Some of the bigger houses, 1,500, 2,000 square feet, $75 a month on home insurance is going to potentially throw something out of whack. And I don't like to be the one that gives that bad news, because if the lender tells them, hey, $75 a month, go give this person a call, we tell them $125 a month. In my mind, because I'm doing this so frequently, I'm thinking $125 a month on this property, that's pretty damn good. They're saying, well, now I don't know if I can buy the house because the costs are too much. And that $50 a month can go a long way in terms of buying power, especially with the increase in price. So if you guys can get used to kind of saying, if you get asked the question, how much is, you know, the cost of the insurance going to be, or how much of the escrow cost going to be, if you can estimate $1,250 to $1,500 on average for a single family home, you're really going to be safe. And you don't have to worry about overcoming that hurdle. Well, now where are we going to get that $50 a month in buying power? I get the phone call, we need to reduce coverages, you know, to the bare minimum so that we can close, and don't worry, we'll up it after. I don't like doing that. I don't like doing that for a couple of reasons. One, everybody forgets to do it after. And in my opinion, and this might be a little harsh and I'm sorry, if that $25, $30 or $40 a month throws the deal east and west for you and it goes sideways, they probably can't afford the house anyway. So I don't think it's smart to be spread that thin. Am I right?
Yes. Yes, choices. People make choices.
I totally understand. But a home insurance policy is not a great place to recoup that $600 a year. You know, we do our best to get the policies as low as we possibly can for you to keep the cost of the escrow and everything as low as we possibly can. But the reality of it is everything is going up right now. And it's made it very difficult for me, but I don't like delivering that bad news. And so that's,
When you start cutting costs and you start taking back on your policy, that's usually when you have a problem. See, when people cut back and they say, oh, I don't want this coverage, since I was in a car accident 2 weeks ago on a Thursday, which we discussed, not my fault. However, when that person who has Geico doesn't have all that stuff and they cut all of those costs, well, if her car didn't work, which it did, but if her car didn't work, she wasn't covered for anything. So she couldn't get a rent-a-car, or she couldn't get this. And it's usually when you cut those costs. So why are we living this way? And Jasper is right. This is the market that we're in. A lot of people purchased homes because the rates were low and they purchased bigger homes. But now because of inflation and the price of gas and oil and things like that, a lot of these people won't be able to put the appropriate amount of oil in their home, but they'll still get their Dunkin' Donuts coffee every morning. And so Jasper is right with this. And so I fully support what you're saying.
I'm sorry to deliver the information kind of right between the eyes. The other thing that we see come up, and I talked about this briefly, but I would like to drive it home again, specifically because it hits home for me right now. I have a customer who's suffering. She bought a house, waived inspection, bought the house back in December, really nice house, Hopkinton. But she waived inspection, and now what's happening, she's sending me pictures of all this termite damage. I'm talking, she has walls removed, she's got exterior siding removed. There's no way that this was not a problem in December. This did not just happen. You don't see the first one, you see the 1,000th one, the 10,000th one, right? So it's been there for many Decembers. I felt like a home inspection would probably reveal something, or some flags would have been raised, but everything was waived. And vermin damage like that is not covered on any home insurance policy. Infestation, vermin, rats, bees, termites, it's not covered. Something like a roof, you know, the roof is old, wind comes, blow some shingles off, some damage, no big deal. Roof will get covered. It was damaged by weather. The damage to the house will get covered. That's okay. People think like that, but they don't think about the termite damage. They don't think what's going on behind the walls that they can't see. I know everybody's mother, brother, father, sister, you know, has done this a million times, and they know more than all the inspectors out there. but it's really not a good idea to waive the home inspection, and this is a very specific reason why. And so I just wanted to drive that point home, that vermin damage isn't covered. And I personally feel like, with some conversations that I've had with people that run the Northeast with these insurance companies, they're going to require home inspections or some sort of home inspection report to be submitted to them, because they're seeing a lot of claims come in. Part of this increase is because of a lot of claims that are coming in. And it could have been prevented, or it could have been brought to light. The infestation could have been brought to light. The bad water behind the wall could have been brought to light. The roof that was 35 years old could have been brought to light that was leaking, but everybody's waiving home inspections, and then they expect the insurance company to kind of come in and pay for it. And they have been. That's caused everybody's price to go up. I have a feeling we're going to get to a tipping point.
Thanks to those people.
It's not just those people. It's a lot of people are waiving inspections, the insurance companies. It's crazy to think that they don't maintain an incredibly significant profit, because in every city you're in, the insurance company has the biggest building, right? Everybody thinks, but they do run on relatively thin margins. The problem is they're getting 5 or 10%, but it's 5 or 10% of this exorbitantly large number that they should be profiting, but they are shelling out a lot of money right now for claims. 2021, 2022 is not off. 2021 did not end well. 2022 is not off for a good start in terms of home insurance claims. Things are usually low, and right now there's a big uptick.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So
All right,
that's what I got for you.
thank you.
You are welcome.
All good. All good news. Keep saving my money, money. I know, you know, the risks we take. Okay, so thank you, Tiffany. So Mr. Mulcahy.
How's everyone doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. What are you seeing out there?
Change,
What change?
shift.
What kind of a shift?
I got an offer accepted yesterday, was the only one, and it was not from asking in Belmont, which is still hot. Ooh. Ooh, that's a change.
Yeah.
With inspection.
Ooh.
So we're seeing that now, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're seeing a little bit of a shift in yesterday's Wall Street Journal. Global housing boom slows as central banks raise rates. Rates are 5.5. They're talking about going up another 3/4 of a point. The rates today are the same rates that we had 10 years ago. Our average sales price 10 years ago was $321,000. It is currently $592 in this market center, which is a difference of $271,000. If you take the average sales price of $271,000, multiply it by an interest rate of 5.5, your mortgage payment is $1,490 more than it would have been 10 years ago for the same house. That's not sustainable. It's not. Now, you can argue that $1,490 over a period of time where families get, did every family that's a salaried employee get a 3% raise every year for the last 10 years? No. Because you could look at that and say, all right, well, that's 30%. We can make it up, but you can't make it up. See, our average sales, our volume is down this year, 8%. But the volume on the units is up 10%. We're okay because the average price is still up, even though the volume's down. Your GCI is up 16%. But you've got an interest rate that's going up. Your average payment is $1,500 more a month, and you've got gas going up, you've got insurance going up, you've got costs going up. So there's a shift that's going to happen. And I'm going to tell you, Brian Tracy wrote a book, No Excuses. In the book, he met one of his mentors, and he wrote about this in the book. And this mentor had given 1,000 things for you to be successful. And Brian Tracy, when he met him, he was thrilled, and he said, asked him a question, out of the 1,000 things you put, what's the most important? Anyone want to guess?
No.
Bingo. No excuses. However, that was the name of the book. The number one was self-discipline. Okay? And in these times, we need to be together and we need to have self-discipline. There's two things that I've done since I've been in real estate for 20 years. I made a commitment 20 years ago to do two things. Number one was to call 5 people every single day. Can anyone here in this room on this call 5 people a day? If you were going to die, if you didn't make 5 calls a day for the rest of your life, would you do that 5 calls every single day for the rest of your life? Could you do that? It's worked for me. The second thing that I made a commitment to do in self-discipline every single day was I was going to come to work. I wasn't going to allow being self-employed for me to sit home and watch Jerry Springer, find out who the real dad is on Maury Povich, and then finish off the day with Oprah. I was going to get dressed
All
Monday,
three which are not
Tuesday.
even on the air anymore.
All right,
But
I
continue.
didn't mention Phil Donahue. So, or Sally Jesse Raphael,
Oh
right?
my God.
The short of it is, I make 5 calls every single day. It's worked for me. I get dressed and shower every Monday through Friday, and I come to the office. If you go to my house at 8:30 in the morning, 100% of the time, I will not be there. I will never be there before 4 o'clock. And I'm not telling you that you need to go to work at 8:30 and 4 o'clock. But what I am telling you is this: the more you show up, the more business that you will do. There should not be 11 people in this business meeting. There should be more. The more people that come to these meetings that are well prepared by your leadership team, you will do more business the more people you surround yourself with in this industry. So I challenge everybody, when we have these meetings, which are once a month for 90 minutes, show up to these things, rub shoulders with the people that are in the trenches with you, that are getting dirty with you. Have self-discipline. You don't have to do this from 8:30 to 5, but you should be here at some point, showing up every single day. I promise you, there are so many success stories that I know of people that showed up at work and rubbed shoulders with people that do this every single day, and it's changed their life. And by the way, I'm one of them. If you can show up every single day and make 5 calls a day. By the way, if you want to double my income, make 10 calls a day. If you want to triple it, make 15. But start with something small and simple, showing up to work and making 5 calls. It'll change your life. Okay?
Thank you.
Any questions? Good.
Inspirational. Any questions? Like those 1980 commercials with at the end of the, like, any questions? No, but it's the activities. And so this is exactly with those who choose to coach with me, those who choose to come into the office, reach out, they're involved. My number one question is, what activities did you do today in business? Because a lot of people say, oh my God, I'm just so busy and I'm so busy. If you want to see productive busy, follow me for 24 hours. Because you're busy, it's honestly, it's either equal or it can't match it. And I don't mean busy because I'm saying that I'm busy. It's like productive busy because my actions are all accountable. Being hired for a job opportunity at the level of leadership here at Keller Williams, you can't hide. There's nowhere to hide. A, no one's coming for you, and B, there's nowhere to hide. Ashley and I say it all the time. And so the numbers are your results, your actions are your actions, and what you're doing is producing those results. And so please, honestly, do not be embarrassed if your businesses has gone down, if you're not mentally in the right place. I put something on Facebook today. All right, I put something on Facebook just because it just reminded me, and a lot of people saw it and reached out to me. And it wasn't about me. I'm not in the tunnel of chaos today, but I have been in that tunnel of chaos. And it was a Mel Robbins video, and I love Mel Robbins. And, you know, she always says that sometimes you need to go through something for something to be better on the other side. But if you think about all the stuff you've been through, the worst of the worst, something good came out of it. Either better people came into your life, more opportunity was exposed because of that. It wasn't all bad, but when you're in it, you can't even see it. And so maybe some people needed to hear that today. And I think a lot of people thought maybe personally I did, because I got a lot of reach out, which I appreciate. And I love how people think I didn't think that they didn't see my post, because they're like, I was thinking about you today. I'm like, girl, you weren't. You saw my post, but think about me on the days that you don't see the post is my point to Mark. And so I too talk to purposely or text 5 people a day. I just texted Jan and Eileen actually yesterday, 2 agents in my office from Beverly. I absolutely adore them. They're in the KW Regional Awards this month. I'm so proud of them. And I texted them and it was 6 o'clock in the morning yesterday. And I go, I'm sorry for the early text. And what she wrote back to me was so amazing and said that she needed that text at that moment in that time and space because of something she was going through. And I have the chills. And she's like, and it pulled me through. And she's like, because I remember your office meetings. I remember the times I used to come into your office and I remember this and I remember that. And I just needed a little bit of that. And so it's some good things to live by that Mark's discussing. So we are going to talk about the market and the affordability index. We are going to do a small 5-minute exercise that potentially, if next week during our success series, Mark can discuss a little bit more about understanding the market and understanding the affordability index and the inflation and how you can utilize that to your advantage by reaching out to people for lead generating for business moving forward. So all that inspiration said, Susan, and what I love, and Susan's going to talk, is that Mark, Susan, me, Mitchell, Jason, we don't get together and talk about what we're ever going to talk about. And this is pure energy, but we all are talking about it all comes together. We're all talking about the same thing. And so like, I absolutely love it. So I'm looking forward to what Susan has to say, because it's usually right on par. So come on up. We're just so great. God, we're just so great. I can't, you know what? I'm taking the day off today after this meeting.
Okay, I was thinking about getting back to basics because I just decided this morning I'm gonna look at, okay, what do people do in a shift? You know, what do they do when things are changing, when things are moving in a new direction and you know it? And, you know, the basics are what Mark was talking about, is just the simple habits and commitments and the discipline that's required to be successful in this business. And that's what I was thinking about. So I feel like they've already defined that. You can define it in any way that you want, but showing up with passion for what you do. What Jamie said is you can make a difference in another person's life. That's pretty amazing that we can do that. That's really our job. So don't think about it as real estate, but if you reach out to someone, you make that phone call or you send that text message, or even do a social media post for that matter, you can impact people. And what better way to live a life with purpose than to do that? And if you earn your living doing that, that's pretty remarkable. So I'm really proud to be in the business and to see it in a shifting market, and to see what I'm going to do, what habits I am going to embrace. And it's going to be 2 or 3 things. I'll report back to you next week.
I love it.
All right.
I do. Yes, I do. I mean, it's, there's a lot to be, there's a lot when there's a shift in anything. And we keep saying, like, when the market shifts, like, it's not Chicken Little. Something's not coming from the sky and something's going to land and you're like, it's here. No, it's here. Like, we are in a market, an industry, an economy where things are changing. My son turned 16 in 2 weeks. And so when you turn 16, what does every 16-year-old boy and girl, what's their rite of passage when you turn 16? There we are. We get our permit. We start there. Because if Charlie had his license, watch out. But we get their permit, right? And so, but they also are going to eventually get their license. And then what do they want to do? They want to get a car. They want to drive. They want to drive mommy and daddy's car. And so, yes, I'll kill Charlie. So yes, so that you want to get a car. all right, so we start looking through that process. We are blessed enough where we have saved and all these things where, you know what, the rite of passage, maybe Charlie might be gifted or earned a used car. Try finding a used car in today's time period. All right, I own a Land Rover Discovery, 82,000 miles on it, 2019, and it's worth about $30,000. Maybe 35 if somebody was desperate and wanted white with black interior because it has 82,000 miles on it. Any car under 100,000 miles is going to be 30 plus. Anything over that, that's that you're going to find at 20, 25,000. But the day of finding like a $5,000, $10,000 used car is a reliable car. Exactly. It's just not there, guys. And so, you know, it's interesting. So will Charlie maybe get a Land Rover for his 16th birthday? Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. And so that process makes you realize, guys, it's not a shifting market. It's where our economy is today based on inflation, based on mortgage rates, based on everything. One of the activities, and I don't even know, Kate, we're going to come back to in a second, an ALC, but what I wanted to talk about, and all this stuff is really, really great. So right here, yesterday, if you were on the Success Series from 2 to 3, there was a lot of valuable information. And back to Susan's point, back to Mark's point, if there's anything that you do, honestly, I'm poured into at a high level from our region, from Gary Keller and Jason Abrams and Mark King and Ashley every Monday. Like, it's not that we have the answers, but we have a really good playbook on how to stay successful in this industry, period. And our company offers all of that. We are the Amazon Prime. We have everything that you need for your business. You know what we don't have? We don't have your desire and your discipline and your lack of attention and whether you're coachable to stay in this industry. That's on you. There has to be it's just like a personal trainer. You can go, they can tell you what to do, they can tell you what to eat, but if you're not doing it, that's on you. And so one of the things they talked about yesterday was, do you know your market's affordability index? And what that means, and we've already done the cheat sheet, so I'm not going to get too involved today on this call. And I know that a lot of people are going to be bummed that they missed this. But if you look at the median house price of each town and the median household income, and we only have 2020, we only have the 2020 income because 2021 hasn't been recorded. And so we're going to use 2020. Now, if you look at it's 2022 and 2020, did income really go up or did it go down? Depends. So some people actually went up because there was a lack of jobs and people were willing to overpay. I mean, our dishwashers at La Fina get $25, $30 an hour. Now, should they have been getting that all along? Maybe. However, I'm just saying it's not $15 an hour. And so if you put that together and you take the actual household income and you do some math, which we've already done for you guys, the affordability percentage needs to be either under 100%, over 100% for you to know what's happening in the market. And these are the deep conversations that I honestly think is the education that some real estate agents could use to better their business, to have intelligent conversations with your clients. Anybody can be in a grocery store and say, hey, Heidi, how's the market? And Heidi's like, it's good. That just shut down the conversation. And maybe they were looking to buy or sell. You could say the next level, well, it depends. Are you a buyer in this market or a seller in this market? Now you caught them off guard. They actually have to have a conversation. They start to think about it. I was just asking. Okay. And we could go on and on. But if you don't have some sort of value to let them understand this stuff, it's your job to educate yourself and take the time to come to these classes. So Tuesdays, 2 to 3, we did this activity yesterday. And the good news is if you look at the let's just go with median household income, Andover, 113,000. This is, by the way, this is household. So Right, it's not just families, not just if you're single, things like that. This is just what the consensus says. So Lawrence, 59,000, Methuen, 83,000, North Andover, 113,000, Haverhill, 69,000, Tewksbury, 104,000. Okay, so Deb Higgins, this one's for you because we're going to talk about Tewksbury, and Drake at 92,000. And so that might be shocking to some people. But if you look at the median house price in June, last month, Andover, 859,000, Lawrence, 425, Methuen, 502,000, North Andover, 719, Haverhill, 459,000, Tewksbury, 582, and Drake at 500,000. Listen, I didn't do great math, though I love teaching third grade math. If you do some division and some math, and you know that basically whatever your income is, 25% of it is paying your bills and mortgage, and you do quick math, which I've done for you, your affordability for Andover is 66%. Lawrence is 69%. Methuen, 83%, North Andover, 79%, Haverhill, 75%, Tewksbury, 89%, Drake at 92%. What does all this mean? Come to the Success Series with Mark next week to understand it. Jump on the 2 to 3 o'clock calls on Tuesday or go and watch them. If you don't know this, we have to have a conversation on why we're still here in real estate, because you have to understand what this means. Not only do you understand it, but these are the areas at which you're going to start realizing where people can't afford and where to actually target some of this lead generating if you choose to do that, to find listings and to understand buyers. Does it make sense to everybody in here? And anybody on Zoom have any questions about it? So we are going to be diving deep into these activities because it's important. Another underutilized resource, many of you want these charts and graphs for like, where are we? We love what, there's a gentleman that does a lot of it on Facebook, and I absolutely adore him as a business owner. Where can we get all that? By the way, he doesn't create all that. That is you can find all of that at the Massachusetts Association of Realtors.com. You can find that on the nationalrealtor.com website. You can find it here with our stuff. They're there, but if you can't have these conversations about your graphs, then really you're just as good as the consumer, because they don't understand it either. And so it's really, really, really important. All right, we're gonna go back here a little bit. Okay, for MCA minutes, do we have a little information?
I do just have a little information.
Thank you.
Good morning. We are, let me see where I can find this up on the camera. We are back to mail taking 2 weeks. So co-broke checks, we need to be proactive again. How do they want their check delivered? I can bring it to the final walkthrough. I can bring it to the closing if you're going. We can do DocuSign if the brokerage does DocuSign. Deposit link. I can also deposit link excess funds so people don't have to wait for those checks as well. So I know, Susan, you and I are actually in the middle of one. I'm in the middle of one with Jeffrey as well, that we're at 8 to 10 business days right now, and the check is still in transit. So it appears the post office has had a shift as well. So let's make it easy on our co-brokes, get things hand delivered, or they can pick it up or deposit link it. So let's make sure we're just communicating, because if they're aware of the situation as well, it'll save everybody time. You emailing me checking, responding to you, the worry of it all will just be eased.
I mean, I've said this before about Kate's job, and Ashley's had the experience too. We help each other out as a team. I answer phones yesterday. I'm playing a little MCA, very little. I'm doing what Ashley does. All of us are doing a little bit of all of it. And I know for a fact that I'm never going to be an MCA. Like, that's not in my future ever. I love what you do, but guys, there's a responsibility technically with an agent, especially with your offer accepted and your purchase and sale. And your purchase and sale isn't complete unless what? The check is in someone's hand at your office or your hand. Technically, you're out of contract. And there's so many people. I got in this industry in 2009. I started at an independent brokerage. That person said, you drive it. You drive it to that location. Well, with $6 in gas, people aren't driving, they're using how much is a stamp? 60 something cents?
Die.
I mean, too, when she said it yesterday,
Last week too.
60 something cents for a stamp? That's
Still
when,
got my forever stamp.
oh my, see, I needed a bunch of forever stamps. And so just know that, I feel bad, but yes, the checks, they are being delayed and giving us a heads up. Hey, you know what? Jamie Camerata from Keller Williams is going to be dropping off a check tomorrow of 123 Main Street because we just got purchase and sale signed. I mean, just little information like that. It takes a village. It takes a team to close a transaction. It's not just you. And so the more you communicate, the more organized you are, just the
And
better.
co-brokers are looking at like 4 days. I don't have my check. Where's my check? They're calling our agents
Yeah.
and say, where's my check? And I'm thinking, well, it's really only been 2 business days. So people
Yeah.
are still expecting quicker mail than what's actually happening right now.
I mean, here's an
When
idea.
you
And
deliver
so,
something, does
yeah.
it have to be hand delivered or can you drop it off in a mail slot? You actually have to hand it to somebody?
No, there's a mailbox.
no, yeah, I mean, if it's on location, like I put it in a deposit box at your office, I dropped it off at the front, somebody signed for it. Yeah, it's really supposed to be at your brokerage so that we know, because what's going to happen? I mean, I don't want to get into it, but let's just say that you think that a great transaction's happening and me and Chris are doing a transaction and she's like, oh, my buyers are going to drop it off for this $1.5 million listing that I have with my sellers. And they don't drop it off on a Friday. And this weekend they go to the Cape and something happens and those buyers are like, you know what? I don't want that property that Jamie was selling over in Beverly Farms. We want this house at the Cape. And they didn't give us the money. Now what? That's why I wish Mitchell was kind of still here because I don't want to get into the now what. You're just supposed to have it, okay? And so if you could just stay organized and just help us with that, that would just be really great. So for ALC, I know that we have a lot of people here. Heidi and Greg, Finance Committee, ran a great 1031 Zoom class. They had a mastermind after about what that means for your clients, which was great. As a matter of fact, one of our agents is talking to another existing agent in the industry who is a top producer who wishes that they had more knowledge about 1031 exchange. That agent reached out to me yesterday and said, hey, Jamie, remember that class that we were running on Zoom last week? Do we have the recording of that? I'd like to send the recording to this agent, build a relationship. Why? Because that's the value that Keller Williams has. And if that person chooses to come to Keller Williams, they might have been the person that directed them in that direction and were the most influential factors to do so. With the co-brokes, here's an idea. Tonight, from 4 to 6 at La Rosa's, everybody that closed a transaction in Q2, all Keller Williams agents and all agents in the industry were invited to come by for a cocktail and an app. And it actually is very successful. There's usually about 25 to 30 agents, which honestly, out of all the people that are invited, the people that come, it's a good 50-50 of agents out in the industry and then agents in our industry here within Keller Williams. And it's just a great networking opportunity. What would that look like if maybe at your co-broke, you're handing them the printed invitation and saying, hey, congratulations on doing a transaction with me. And by the way, you're going to be getting an email and a text from our office eventually, but here's the invitation for our next one, because you're going to be invited. And I'd love to have a cocktail with you. And you start building that relationship. Listen, Mark's talked about your commissions. You were doing the same activities the last 2 years and making 30% more money. That's awesome. That's great. But now you're going to be doing the same activities in a different market and you will not be making 30% more. So where is that difference going to come from? Why wouldn't it be through profit sharing? Why wouldn't it be through passive income? Instead of maybe going to get a part-time job at somewhere else because you can't make ends meet or because you have to come up with that difference for your family. There's a huge opportunity here to grow during the market that we're in and the economy that we're in. The other thing is that you received an email from the fund committee. Crazy team leader had this great idea, but now that I think about it and it's in August, it's such a crazy idea with all that I have going on. However, we are having our first softball tournament. We need 20 participants. Approximately, we are going to be playing softball on August 12th over at the Greater Lawrence Technical School. No skills necessary. It's something fun. We have equipment too. We have extra gloves. So we're going to be putting out the times and things like that for the softball game, which will be fun. And then the entire office, whether you play softball or not, is invited to my home at 1 p.m. This is weather permitting. So if it is raining that day and stuff, obviously we'll be picking a different date. But right now it's August 12th, 1 p.m. To my house for, just drinks, pool if you choose, networking, socializing, and just celebrating the end of the summer. So unfortunately, I'm at the end of the summer. But so that's August 12th. Is there anybody else from ALC that would like to speak about something moving forward? I don't think so, but okay, perfect. We talked about success series. Okay, great. Many of you saw that we do have a Drake-It location. Right now it is a mega office. People have been asking us this question, so I would like to explain. A couple of real estate agents that were at a different company came over to Keller Williams. They qualified to open up their own office and carry the expenses. That's called the mega agent office. It needs to be approved by the region. It needs to be approved by KWRI. We went through that process, and so that has allowed us to open up this mega office. The agents were so kind to allow the opportunity that if we build enough excitement in the Drake-It area, that we'll actually turn it into a business center, which means our company starts to take most of the costs of that place, and everybody has the opportunity to work out of that location. And so for now, we do have a lockbox. We are having a grand opening. There's been a lot of feedback and excitement from that community about having a location there. And so if you can make it on August 18th between 4 and 7, we're going to have a formal ribbon cutting ceremony. It's going to be great. And then in September, we're going to do a relaunch of our Methuen location. Because remember, Methuen opened right before COVID. And after that, everything's too blurry for people. And with this excitement, and I'm telling you, there's at least 25 people on that list, Ashley, from the Drake-It Pelham area, 48 now, that they want to know more about Keller Williams, and they're excited that we're coming. And so that's passive income for people when they come to this company, because they're going to come. And when they do, Methuen's going to be the same thing. So if you would like more conversations about that, let me know. I'm running career night. We had great career night. I put it on Facebook. It's exciting. What opportunity do people have other than creating their own business? And so we encourage for you to share what we put on our Facebook accounts and just share. It just says share. Just forward it and share it and invite them. Let us know. If Heidi said, hey, listen, I think I have somebody, George, that might, jump on your career. Awesome. Great. Follow up after, build that relationship. We talked about Shift. Bold, we haven't talked about that. So Bold is an amazing program that our company created a long time ago with Diana Kokoska, Building a Life by Design. Our company, honestly, out of all the real estate companies, is the only company that allows the opportunity for you to learn and grow without getting your own therapist, without getting your own life coach, without getting your own business coach. This is what the company does for you if you choose to be plugged in. This program, Building a Life by Design, I've taken it 6 times. The first time I took it, I just joined the company, didn't know anything about Keller Williams, had no idea what I was getting into, and it was a game changer in my personal life. It, as you can see on here, goes through different stages of mindset, business growth, development, financial thermostat. They go over script and objection handlers, how to get a listing better, embedded commands, affirmations. Amazing program. It's $800. I know. It's live in person in Manchester. Great. It used to be 8 to 4. It's now 9 to 2:30. We've had the opportunity, along with partnering with Mark's Market Center, to open up some spots for some of our agents to be exposed to this live training. The great thing is that you have the opportunity to get the money back that you put in for every transaction that you have written a contract, exclusive buyer or exclusive listing contract, even if they're going to buy in the fall or the spring. but they date an exclusive listing or an exclusive buyer contract dated between August 3rd and September 28th. When it closes before next year of August 3rd, we will give $100 back for all those transactions. And it works. I can sit here and say it works. It works. So the good thing is that August 3rd is free. So if you're interested, you can definitely scan the code, click one of my links and just see what it's about. And you guys have a great instructor. Our KW numbers here at our market center, month over month, closed units. Last year was 99 and this year I'm sorry, opposite. Yes, thank you. I'm dyslexic. No, God forbid. 118 last year and now 99. Look at the days on market. Guys, we've been putting a post on Facebook every single day following what's active, what's under agreement, days on market, and price changes. And this is the story of the market. So look at the closed volume. Look at how many listings are being taken. These numbers tell a story. Join Mark next Wednesday. We're going to talk about numbers. We're going to talk about these things. Contracts written. I know. I know. Right. Right. And so is that business? Is that things not, again, so we track contracts written. That only gets tracked if you're doing the right steps within the command platform and we know about it. But imagine the ones that we don't know about that aren't happening. What's that?
I'm sure there's plenty you don't know.
I'm sure that there is. We talked about going live. Here are some of the graphs that go with some of the numbers that were found on MAR, NAR. You have access to all of these. The 5-year Q2 single family sales summary. These are 1 pages. A lot of these, they look great. What's happening? I see ups, I see downs. Again, what does it mean? That's why you have to come to Success Series. That's why you have to go to the shift on Tuesday. That's why we have to get more meaty in our shareholder meetings. I even considered maybe we're going to have 2 a month. One's going to be on this and one's going to be specifically on market because we need this knowledge. And here's a couple more. Market stats. If you're looking, scan right here. Everything's in the all agent access drive. Everything's there. Coming soon. So we're not ready to launch this yet, but you wanted it. So imagine if you could pay $100 and that $100 would get you your just listed, your open house, your QR code, a landing page, and maybe even a smart plan created with your consumers. We're going to do it for you. So we're going to take that responsibility. You'll have 5 things to choose from. There'll be a system on how to get your listings in. It's within a 24-hour turnaround. We will be launching that. And so that is coming soon. So thank you for the feedback that many of you did when I sent the email. On Tuesdays, Ross Billing is a friend of mine. He is at cross country, but his whole team hangs out at this table on Tuesdays. And if you ever have any questions about lending, if you're in the office and you just are building relationships, introduce yourself to them. They just want to sit here. They want to help. And so we have Jason now in the office, and on the days that Jason's here, he wants to help. And anytime Mitchell's here, we all really just want to help educate and for you to make as much money as possible in this industry. Fall Masterminds is coming. What is it? As your team leader, everyone should go to this. It's $500. It's in Boston, 2 full days. It's like going to Mega Camp without going to Austin. It's like going to family reunion, wherever that is each year, without that cost. They're bringing it to Boston. And so there's a lot of high level masterminding, networking that happens at this event. Everybody that in our office that goes, we are going to have a big dinner on Monday night. So if you register, we'll take care of dinner for you. But I'm telling you, you get to break out into sessions to learn how to improve your business at a high level from people that are doing it every day. And that is October 2nd and 3rd. It's a Monday, Tuesday. And so please look at that email. I wouldn't push it if I honestly didn't think that it was going to grow your business, because I could say that about everything. Everything's going to grow your business. This is a huge opportunity. Hasn't been back in Boston in 7 years. Mega Agent Camp. a huge expense. I know that we do have a couple agents that are going there. Airfare is expensive, hotel is expensive. If you can go, awesome. It's an amazing experience. The agents that are going this year, I am going to ask them to come back at our shareholder meeting and just explain what they, took away from that. But if you want that opportunity for a trip, KW Luxury, we're always adding qualifying agents to our KW Luxury. If you're interested in how many more transactions you need to do to make that, just let us know and we can let you know. Congratulations. A lot of you received this amazing little badge of honor that you're in the top 10% or the top 20%. I have to say this. Some people were like, what? This kills me. Why did they get 2 badges? If you're one of those people and you wrote that to me, we have to have a conversation. Okay, so if you got a top 20, it's because you're in the top 10 too. But let's have it. But congratulations. We just want to honor you. And so one year during COVID, we put, yard signs up. This year, we promoted it through social media and Facebook. I know at Mark's Market Center, once you hit a certain amount, they have like, $1 million breakfast, or they have this or that. We're trying to get everybody back. We want to do great things for you guys. So if you have any ideas on that, please let us know. From this point on, these are all of our awards and accolades. First closing, just listed, first listing, top volume, top earners. I love these, but we're not going to go through them because I want to keep the meeting here. So if you are seeing this recorded, I encourage you to look through them. For those that are here in the training room, I am going to click through very quickly just to kind of give us almost like a moment of silence of all of those people of congratulations. They are important. They are important, but we just don't want 2-hour shareholder meetings. So that being said, top individual closed volume, congratulations to Robin. For top teams closed volume, congratulations to the Donahue Group. Top group closed volume, congratulations to the Marin Group. Top individual closed units still happen to be Robin, congratulations. For top team closed units, it was not the top team that we just talked about with closed volume. It happens to be the Art of the Sale Group, so congratulations. And for top group closed units, it's actually the Luriano team. So see how that can all change, volume and units. Congratulations for $1 million listed as individual agents. Yes, we do have Chris here in the live in person in the office. Congratulations that have all listed. Here's the other thing. If I see that people are doing listings, me personally, if I was still in the industry, I probably would want to reach out to that person and just ask them, like, how are you getting listings? How is it working? What's your lead generating look like? If it's a question for you. Congratulations for $1 million listed for teams, Art of the Sale. For groups, congratulations to Susan Sells, who's in here, Marin Liriano, and Treetop Group. They listed over $1 million in sales last month. And then closings. It's one thing to list it, like Heidi said, things are sitting on the market longer, days on market. It wasn't even a full price offer, and she still got her home inspection still in it and got it accepted. And so we have to actually close these. So congratulations to everybody who sold over $1 million in real estate last month. And congratulations for the teams that sold over $1 million last month. And congratulations to the groups that sold over $1 million last month. June birthdays, happy birthday. And, sometimes you'll get a video from us, a text message, a Facebook group. Some people don't want this. They don't want people to know it's their birthday. They don't want to know that they've capped. They want to be personal about their stuff. If that happens to be you, we don't mean it. Can you just please reach out to us? Because we're obviously not going to post it if you don't want it. And happy anniversary to everyone here. 14 years Monica's been here. So, we opened Keller Williams here in Andover over 20 years ago. And so there are a lot of you that, like Tiffany said, that have joined the company in the last 5 years. More than half of our roster has been in the last 5 years, by the way, active roster in the last 5 years. So that tells a lot. And this is the market pulse that we've been telling you about. And so you want to follow these numbers because it's telling you what's active, what's under agreement, what's sold, and days on market. And so if I would have pulled this from last year, days on market was like 3, 1, 0, 4, didn't hit the market. Okay, so that being said, if anybody has anything to share, an announcement, a listing, a buyer, anybody on chat that would like to unmute themselves, now's the time to do so. And if not, then I appreciate everyone coming to the shareholder meeting. And we will have one in August, but our big relaunch in September, I would encourage everybody to be back, put it on your calendar. We will be putting it out today, the date, so that you can save that date. You have 2 months in advance. You can save the date unless you're traveling. Have a great week, everyone.
Good job, thank you.
You're welcome.
On the summer series broadcast here,